Thank you. Now Donnielle Wanatee will ask a question about climate change.
Hi, I'm Donnielle Wanatee. I'm with Bold, Iowa. I'm a Squawky, also known as Second Fox of the Mississippi in Iowa. I'm an Iowan, and I've been fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline since 2015. I ran hundreds of miles to try to stop the pipeline. And walked nearly 200 miles in Iowa. I was even arrested at the governor's office. When I speak out against climate change in the pipeline, I speak out for all my Iowans. Not only does climate change and fossil fuel infrastructure threaten indigenous communities, it threatens the survival of all communities. Many Asian and Latino communities are already being hit hard by a changing climate. Look at the damage from the cyclone that just hit India, and there are entire island nations that are being wiped off the map by sea level rise. In this hemisphere, 2 years ago, Hurricane Maria killed over 3,000 people in Puerto Rico, and now the drought in Honduras is devastating agriculture, forcing hungry families to flee north. These people are climate refugees, and if we do not end fossil fuel emissions, there will be millions more refugees. You know this because you just put out an excellent plan to fight climate change. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But when you ran for the US Senate, you took more money from the oil and gas industry than any other candidate except Ted Cruz, over $500,000. Here in Iowa, we saw politicians who were bought off by big oil for a lot less than that. Politicians who then supported the pipeline against the wishes of Iowans. So my question is, how do we voters reconcile the fact that you've got an ambitious plan to fight climate change, yet you took over $500,000 from the fossil fuel industry? Can I ask you to please not accept any money from them, and please work for the state of Iowa and the people in this United States?
Great question. Thank you for asking. So, I hope to correct the record on one really important point that you made. I've not taken any political action committee money, not just as a candidate for Senate, not just now as a candidate for president, but for the last 5 years as a member of Congress as well, because I don't want there to be any conflict of interest or the perception of conflict of interest. We limited donations to our campaign solely to human beings, not corporations, not special interests. And in this campaign as well, we take no money from lobbyists, and we've signed the fossil fuel pledge, so we take no money from fossil fuel company executives. But to your question about the Senate campaign, we raised more in small dollar donations than any Senate candidate in the history of the United States of America. So yes, in the oil and gas industry, those workers in the fields, those folks who are answering the phones, people at every level of that major employer in the state of Texas gave money to our campaign. But folks in the educational industry, in the hairdressing industry, in every industry under the sun were also the top contributors to our campaigns at 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks at a time. We ran the largest grassroots campaign that the state of Texas has ever seen. But to the spirit of your question about what we are doing right now, not only do we continue not to take any PAC money, lobbyist help, corporate or special interest help, but signing the fossil fuel pledge, which ensures that we do not take any support from executives of these fossil fuel companies, I hope ensures that we all understand that we're on the same page. But as I say that, let me also say this. I said at the outset that the only way that we're going to meet all these challenges is to unify this very divided country. While I agree that executives of many of these fossil fuel companies have exacerbated the problems, have sought to hide the science, misdirect public policy, those workers in those industries should not be punished or written off or made to feel ashamed. Nor should people who work in the coal industry or really any industry in this country. I want them to feel part of the solutions that we are proposing. So our climate plan, which calls for us to be at net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, to be halfway there in a little more than a decade in 2030, to mobilize $5 trillion of investment, must bring everyone into the solution, including those who work in those industries right now, who will be transitioning into other industries as well. We must make sure that they know that we have their backs that they have a future in this country and in our economy. So yes, let's meet these very ambitious goals together, but yes, let's make sure that everyone together is part of the solution. And I look forward to working with you on this. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Yeah.